I am showing that it is 7:01. So at this time, I am going to call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 22nd, 2021 meeting of the Board of Supervisors of North Coventry Township. Joining us here on this meeting this evening is myself, Jim Marks, Vice Chairman Rick Sheeler, Supervisor Harvey Greenwald, Supervisor Spencer Claypool, and Supervisor Rebecca Elliott. Also joining us on this call is Township Manager Erica Badorf, and I believe, is Dan here yet?
Yep, just got on.
Okay, and our solicitor, Dan Seger. So I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. First order of business is the meeting minutes from March 8th, 2021. Do I have any comments or corrections on the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 8th, 2021?
So moved.
Spencer makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Harvey seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Bills, we have, since our last meeting, a total of unpaid bills totaling $28,974, and also have a list of paid bills and payroll totaling $134,240. Do I have any questions on the bills? Any questions from the public on the bills? These bills were posted to the township website over the weekend. If anybody got a chance to review and had any questions, please unmute yourself, identify yourself, and ask your question now. Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to pay the $28,974 and acknowledge the list of paid bills and payroll totaling $134,240. Have that motion?
So moved.
Rick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rebecca seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the bills are paid and acknowledged. Developers bills. Any comments on the developers bills? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to a public hearing on the ordinance revision to the open space review board. Because the Coventry Land Trust no longer exists. Before I say that, though, I should call this meeting to order, or this hearing to order, and we'll move on to the ordinance review. So Erica discovered this one, and Chris brought it to our attention that the Coventry Land Trust no longer exists, and the previous ordinance had a requirement that a member of the Coventry Land Trust would be appointed to the Open Space Review Board. Since that land trust no longer exists, we are updating the wording in the ordinance to reflect that and essentially making that position open to a citizen at large, and that's the wording. Do I have any comments or questions from the board on the change? Any comments or questions from either our solicitor or manager on the change? And then finally, any comments or questions from the public on the change? Hearing none, at this time I'm going to close the hearing, and I'm going to ask that there's a motion to adopt ordinance number 01-2021, amending Chapter 44 of the Open Space Review Board, Section 44-1, membership, and Section 44-2 in regards to terms. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Rick makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Harvey seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the change is made. Subdivision and land development. About a month ago, we had an applicant in here from the mall proposing a use for the bank building. As a result of that conversation, we asked that that applicant communicate with the mall and with our solicitor as far as a way to move forward. This past week, we were contacted by Penmark Management requesting a staff meeting to discuss the future planning of the Coventry Mall complex. This is something that we've asked for previously. Obviously, the pandemic certainly threw a monkey wrench into that. And the Planning Commission also reiterated the same request. And the mall has reached out to us asking to schedule a staff meeting. Staff meeting is going to be at their expense. So at this time, I'm going to ask for if there's any comments or questions from the board.
The first question I would have, would it be through a Zoom meeting?
Well, that's my question too. I saw an email this afternoon from the mall offering to use an empty store in the mall for an in-person meeting. Dan, what's your pleasure here on that?
My understanding is that they really would prefer a Zoom meeting, frankly. I think they just thought that it would be in person, that was what you wanted. They would prefer it. They would prefer Zoom.
Okay, I'd certainly prefer that it's done through Zoom as well.
I would think as long as they got the township the information, and also we'd have it in our hands to be able to review.
Right,
So-
I think that should be a condition. They did say they were going to have the information by today even, but we don't have any information. I think you need a master plan at least, and the sketches that I had requested of them. And I think you want at least a few days to be able to review it before, and myself and Ed as well. Even.
Okay. So at this point, we are just authorizing that the staff meeting occurs. The details and the, what's provided prior to that meeting is something that our manager and solicitor will work out. Who on behalf of the township is going to be present for that meeting?
Well, last time it was, I believe it was you, Jim, and Rick last year when we had it. So I think certainly they've been reaching out to you, Jim. So I think you should. And frankly, Rick as vice chairman should as well, at least. That's my feeling. It's easier because you're aware of somewhat what's going on.
And members of our planning commission as well.
There should be at least one member of the planning commission. I think Ed should be involved, myself, obviously, Erica. I can't think of any, I don't think there's any environmental issues that we have to discuss at this point. So I don't think any committee members need to be present.
Let's, at this point, authorize the staff meeting, and then we'll, Erica will work on scheduling it, and we'll work out the details from there. So at this point, do I have a motion to authorize the staff meeting with representatives of Penmark Management at the expense of Penmark Management?
Okay.
Spencer, you made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Harvey seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to old business. So we're looking for authorization to advertise the stove and the fuel tank, which were out at the Paravis Hall building, to place those on the municipal website to try to sell those items. Eric, do you have any info on the condition of these?
I have a description of both the stove and the tank. We are looking as is, selling them as is. I mean, they're in okay condition, but have certainly not been used for quite some time. So we will post it with this information. There's some similar items you'll see from time to time on Municipid. So we'll see what will happen as far as the advertisement.
The fuel tank, is there fuel in the tank?
John, I believe you're on. I think that's a no.
No, there's actually there are two heating oil tanks from the old system in there. Everything's drained and ready to be shipped. Bought.
Thank you.
So,
Are they attached, John?
no, they were at one point, but they're with piping, so they're separated. We drained everything, disposed of the fuel inside, and so
it's just ready to go. A truck pulls up and off it goes.
that's the hope.
And the stove, how is that built into the kitchen? Is it mounted somehow, or?
The stove was an old gas stove. I guess at one point they had a gas tank out there. So everything's been disconnected. It's been moved out of the kitchen again, ready to go if bought.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Could that stove be used outside?
I don't think so.
All right, do I have a motion to authorize staff to advertise these two items on Municipid?
So moved.
Rick makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Yeah.
I think I heard Spencer second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business. So we couldn't have a road tour this year. So John put his proposals together. John, I'm going to bring this up. Maybe you can kind of review your the project here and kind of explain what you're thinking and what you're asking of us.
So I guess originally we put together two options for this year. The first option would be, if possible, we would mill and overlay Laurelwood Road in conjunction with the water and sewer project that's to take place there. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's possible, so we went to our plan B for this year. And so we're looking to address Temple Road from St. Peter's Road. I'm sorry, Temple Road from St. Peter's to Valley View. I don't know if anyone's driven that road lately, but the profile on that road is in really bad shape. It's flat, not much crown in it. So we looked at different options. I met just to get budgetary numbers, for a couple different scenarios. One being a recycle of the road and an overlay, very expensive, out of our budget. Next option would be the one I'm recommending. It would be leveled with a FB1 modified material, which is it's more of a soft grade emulsion asphalt. It'll have a little flex to it. It'll move a little bit with the road. It's pretty good for low volume roads. And when I say low volume, I mean, roads with less than 2,500 average daily traffic. And then a double chip seal on top of that. To me, it seems, the shape of the road, we could do normally what we do, level a little bit, try to address some of the water and profile issues, and then chip seal it. I really don't think it's the right. I'm looking for something that's going to last. We have a lot of drainage areas on that road, a lot of icing in the wintertime. So definitely, we want to get a good crown in the road and try to fix this, to the best of our ability. And one of the things with the last, I don't want to speak for this winter, but the last two, we were able to save a little bit of our money from winter, with the winters being so mild, and have a little bit of a reserve, or more of a reserve, in liquid fuels to address a road like this. A little different than what we typically have in the past. Again, we have a storm pipe to replace. The River Road section down at going into Morgan, the moving company. That's a road that's been in really bad shape for years. Again, we were kind of waiting for the sewer authority to address some pipe, water line replacement, and it seems to me that that's happening this year. So once they complete that, that's definitely in need of a leveling course and an overlay course, and then some small, another smaller paving project, Riverside Drive. That would just be the entrance, the main section going in. And then we have some of our normal base repair, some striping. Typically we do that every 2 years. We're on our 2-year cycle. And then we included sweeping this year for the curb roads only. Any questions?
One question I would have, John, is there any possibility, since we're not doing Laurelwood Road like we've been talking about for a couple of years, that a couple of the areas could get milled and patched? Or
I think definitely, I think that would be something we would address after they're done with their project, or see how their project goes. I don't think we want to repair something before they begin.
it's just, I don't have a lot of, I don't know, when the municipal authority is going to get everything together. I haven't heard much of late of where they are with their plans or anything. So if it's this year, next year.
Oh, definitely. Again, like I wouldn't want to spend money on something that they're going to dig up or potentially they would repair. So I mean, I think we're still in middle of March here, end of March. I think we have a little bit of time to look at that and then assess what they're doing and think about what we want to do there.
Okay, thanks.
Will you be able to do touch-ups in other areas of need? For instance, Coots Drive, as it turns into Temple Road, there's some, I know that's a vulnerable spot. You've gone over that repeatedly, but there's some issues there. And probably places.
I guess, same as always, every year we do our targeted work. We try to get that completed first, see what's left budget wise, and then assess what we have left with what other repairs we can make.
Very good.
John, explain the section that's circled in red, the way your budget is going. This is for what, the Temple Road?
Yeah, so originally what we did, I just, we're budgeting, originally budget $140,000 for Laurelwood Road. This project estimated budget is $156,000. Now that also, included in some of that was Pottstown Landing chip seal. That would not happen this year. So what I wanted to do is just a comparison of, what we budgeted for and where we will be at. So there was also a road that was supposed to get paved. Oh, I had approximately $10,000 in to level Temple Road in our materials budget. That with this process, that won't happen. So there's $10,000 there that we had budgeted, towards repairs on Temple Road that we won't have to spend on that now.
So John, if I could just jump in here. So you're saying that the budget for 2021 and the plan of action, it's simply being adjusted in the scope of the projects being done, but everything still is falling in line with the estimated budget figures. Is that correct?
Yeah, very close. I mean, again, until we open bids,
right, of course.
We get the bid day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for John? Any questions from the public? Hearing none. At this time, we're looking for a motion to authorize our roadmaster to prepare a final estimates, specifications, and bid documents in coordination with the township manager to implement the 2021 road program as presented. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Rick makes the motion. Second. Rebecca seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good. Thank you, John. Manager report.
Okay, thank you. All right. A few COVID updates. Governor Wolf has lifted COVID restrictions, if you've seen in the news, related to revising maximum occupancy limits, changes for alcohol sales at restaurants, for I know a self-certification process that goes into effect April 4th. We also have the Chester County Health Department, who set up a call center, certainly for vaccinations. I know that's certainly a hot topic, and I have the information for that call center. We continue to try to share that information via our channels. Additionally, regarding COVID relief, there is a federal stimulus, rather relief package, I should say, and that is being distributed to states and then to local government entities. Right now, the township is working with PSATs. There was a town hall today that the registration was so high that I got in late. So there's a second one tomorrow because so many municipalities are in need of knowing the who, what, when, where on this relief package. The township allocation is just about $768,000. That is something across with a formula that the federal government has used, and we are distilling all that information, and we'll work through that to know exactly what that means in terms of relief, what the township can use with that funding, how much funding we'll be receiving. I understand 50% of that would come in within this fiscal year, and 50% at a later time to be used by 2024. So that is something that we are closely watching. Also wanted to report, it's been very busy for the Borough of Pottstown the last few days, and for various water authorities, as the Borough Authority had a pretty large, extensive water main break at King Street Bridge, and that occurred on March 17th. We had worked with the North Coventry Authority on that and helped to disseminate information and support residents through the water boil advisory notice that was in effect. That has been lifted, and the repair is substantially complete for the borough as well. Emergency management, through the necessary means of remote work, our emergency management crew, as well as township staff, have implemented a virtual task management system for incidents and events. That is working out rather well. We tried a trial version of the site. This could potentially be something we could apply for COVID relief as well, but this is something that we're all able to use remotely. In addition, the Trex recycling program, the Township EAC has launched a plastics recycling program. There are 2 containers outside of the township building. Please feel free to drop off your plastic grocery bags, produce bags, anything with plastic film on it, and you can dispose of it at the township. If we collect 500 pounds, we will be in line to have a bench for one of our parks possibly, and also do a good thing of keeping it out of landfills. Chester County has a solid waste household hazardous waste event. They haven't had one for a while. That is coming up on Saturday, April 10th at the Government Services Center in Westchester. We have that information and have shared that online. Lastly, the financial review for the performance period of the general fund through the end of February. We have collected $440,000 in revenue with total expenses of $793,658. We're in line with budgeted figures, but we do have our tax bills out. So we'll see the revenues come to pace with the expenses here in the next few months. We do have our 2020 audit we had it in draft form. We gave some final comments, and that should be produced here soon for the BCED deadline. That is my report this evening.
Very good, thank you. Solicitor, Dan.
Yes, first of all, I apologize for the delay in issuing my report because we had a trying week last week, not only with the water, but our server was down because of the underground generator fire. So we finally got online today. So I apologize again, but with respect to my report, the only thing outstanding is we're waiting. I think I reported last time, we're waiting on the application to allow the proceeding of the sale of the Klein property in Tripodi. There has not been, I'm somewhat surprised because they've threatened to file an appeal to the Commonwealth from the Commonwealth Court's order, and there hasn't been a motion for reconsideration. There has been an answer to our application, but beyond that, we're just waiting at this point to hear from the Commonwealth Court. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dan. Supervisors report. Rebecca, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was unable to log into the Cato Spring Conference. They didn't provide the password. I wonder if that ever went off. And if not, if they're going to reschedule that. Erica, perhaps you know.
Rebecca, I had the same issue you did that evening. My understanding is that it did, but there was something very odd about finding the proper registration to get in. So I don't know if they recorded that and that's available for review. I can find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was my only concern. But I also participated in the pollinators Zoom meeting, and that was very informative, and I really enjoyed that. So keep them coming. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Rick, do you have anything?
There's a open space meeting tomorrow night. The instructions are all posted on the calendar on the website. So that's all I have for tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Harv, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Spencer?
No, I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. We have representatives from all of our boards and commissions, so if they don't mind, I'm just going to put them on the spot real quick, starting with Bill of our Planning Commission. I know they are having a meeting this Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Bill, you want to bring us up to date on what's on that agenda?
I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I don't believe any more review for the Coomer property is being held. I do know there is something with regards to New Hanover Township and some changes in ordinances there, but that's all I've got until the meeting on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Edie, I see you're on. Rick said there's a meeting tonight. Anything you want to share?
I'm really pleased that you all approved the change to the ordinance, and I wanted to thank you for doing that because that frees us up to advertise for that position. Looking forward to having it full. That's all.
Thank you, Edie. EAC, I see the worst are on. Is that John or Patty or both?
John, although we both are here, yes.
Very good.
Well, I think as far as the EAC goes, that Erica touched on the Trex recycling program where we're collecting plastic film and bags, et cetera, to get hopefully a free park bench if we can collect enough. Thanks, Rebecca, for tuning into the EAC webinar the other night about honeybees and native pollinators. We do have our next one coming up on April 21st. Phoebe Robb is going to be talking about pruning and planting of trees and shrubs, so just in time for spring. I think that's all from an EAC perspective.
How about Parks and Rec? Patty?
Hi, Jim. I see Cynthia and Vince are both on, so if I forget anything. But generally, there wasn't a lot at the March meeting that was new or outstanding. It was mostly just general maintenance issues, tree planting, Eagle Scout projects, things of that manner, but nothing really of note.
Very good. Thank you very much. Spencer, your historical commission, any updates with historical commission?
No, there's nothing new tonight, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Spencer. And then I guess last on my thing is I saw, and I don't believe we talked about this last time. I think it came out after our last meeting, but the police department put out their annual report for 2020. Does any of the board have any questions for our chief on that report? Matt, you have anything you want to share in regards to the report and a recap of last year?
Well, first I'd like to thank Ann for doing all the putting together with all that kind of stuff and getting it out to everybody. So I appreciate the work that she's put in for that. Just the figures from last year, you can see that you know, the police department was affected by COVID and everything, in amount of calls that we had, as well as just the different types of productivity that was there. And it was just affected just like any other aspect in the community, as far as just trying to be safe and trying to provide a service, but keeping our officers you know, in safety as well. So you know, other than that, it was you know, it seemed like it was a pretty steady year.
Matt, the number that jumped out to me the most, and I'm curious of what your take is on this, is overtime was half of what it was the year before. What would cause such a dramatic drop in overtime?
Well, I'd have to go back and take a look and see exactly if there was details that weren't happening because of COVID. There were some, I know there were some details as far as like DUI checkpoints and things like that were canceled. And then, of course, like I said, you know, just keeping our officers, kind of holding them back from stopping every car that was out there, kind of thing. So I think all that played into it, but I don't know exactly what percentages, you know, did what.
Okay.
Hey, this is John Worth. I have a question for Matt. Matt, were all of your officers able to be vaccinated as they are first responders?
I'm sorry, did you say were they or are they?
Were they able to get vaccinated?
Yes, it was offered to those, to anybody in the police department, and quite a few of us have the shots that have gotten their second shots already, and I actually go in for my second shot the beginning of April. So everybody that wanted a shot signed up for it, and is either has gotten the series of 2 shots, or you know, we're getting close to getting the second shot.
Excellent, thanks. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you feel better after your second shot than I did.
Yeah, hopefully it's just going to be a little sore arm, and that's about it.
Hopefully.
Thanks, Chief. All right, public comment. It's a portion of the meeting where the public gets to comment. If anybody has a comment they'd like to offer, I'd ask that you unmute yourself, identify yourself, and make your comment at this time.
Hey, Jim, it's Patty Worth.
Hi, Patty.
I had a question. I was driving along Jones Road this afternoon, and I know there's been a lot of discussion lately about the maintenance of the hay fields at Coventry Woods. And I did notice a tractor in there pulling a trailer that was spreading something on the fields. I just wanted to make sure that that was something that the township was aware of and had signed off on.
Patty, thank you for letting me know. I'll check into that for the board.
Thanks, Erica.
Anybody else? Okay, very good. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending the meeting tonight. 26 participants at the height of our meeting. Certainly appreciate everybody tuning in to find out what's going on and joining us here. We are back actually in 3 weeks. This is a 3-week break, so we come back April 12th, I believe it is. So we will see you then. Have a good Easter, everybody, and we'll see you in
Thank you.
3 weeks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Thank
Happy
you.
Good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.